The village of Ardenbruck lay hidden in a fold of mist-shrouded hills, where the sunlight struggled to reach the cobblestone streets, and the wind carried the chill of centuries. Its houses were shuttered as if to guard secrets too dark for words, and the air smelled faintly of damp earth and aging wood. Travelers who dared to cross into Ardenbruck spoke in whispers of strange paintings that seemed to live, moving figures frozen in time, gestures repeated endlessly, shadows twisting unnaturally. Leopold Arnhart arrived in Ardenbruck in the winter of 1887, a scholar of antiquities and the strange art of forgotten masters. He carried leather-bound notebooks, sketches of cryptic symbols, and a pocket watch that ticked insistently against the cold air. Rumors in Vienna had reached him, men who could capture time itself on canvas, paintings that preserved life, motion, and decay, and a village that seemed to exist in layers of past, present, and future. Leopold had come to witness these works, driven by curiosity and an unease he could not name. The villagers watched him with quiet suspicion. They moved slower than normal, their gestures repeating subtly as though rehearsed. One old man carried firewood in loops of identical motion, and children retraced steps they had taken moments before. The village itself seemed caught in a rhythm that defied natural time. Leopold's first encounter was with Matthias Kessler, a tall man with angular features and eyes that gleamed unnaturally in the dim light of his mansion's studio. The door was carved with spirals that seemed to twist subtly when not observed directly. Inside, the air smelled of linseed oil, turpentine, and something metallic. The walls were lined with paintings that seemed to hum faintly. One depicted the village square at dusk, yet the figures moved subtly. A woman adjusted her shawl. A child chased a ball, shadows lengthened unnaturally. Leopold felt the hairs on his arms rise. "You see it then," Kessler said softly. "Time is not fixed. It bends, flows, and can be captured, if one knows how to see it." Leopold nodded, feeling the weight of centuries pressing on him. This was not mere artistry. It was alchemy of existence, each brushstroke bending the very flow of time. Over the next days, Leopold wandered the village and its surrounding countryside. The river ran sluggishly, reflecting skies that shifted unnaturally. Birds lingered mid-flight. Shadows moved in ways that contradicted the sun. And every evening, he returned to Kessler's mansion, where new paintings revealed more of the painter's secret. One canvas showed a forest at twilight. A doe walked along a path, paused mid-step, then vanished, only to reappear moments later. "They are not dead," Kessler whispered. "They are preserved, held. Call it life or memory, either way it is time we can contain." Leopold's fascination was tempered by fear. With each visit, Kessler's eyes became darker, more insistent. He left gifts for Leopold, pigments that shimmered under moonlight, brushes warm to the touch as if alive. "Other men," Kessler murmured, "masters of the craft, work in hidden studios, capturing not only life but thought, emotion, and decay." On the fifth night, Kessler led him to a hidden chamber beneath the mansion. The air was colder here, carrying the scent of stone and earth. A single painting dominated the room, the village square itself captured in detail so precise it felt alive. The figures were suspended in time, a child mid-chase, a woman's dress billowing in a breeze that did not exist. Leopold approached. The air vibrated faintly beneath his fingertips. The child's ball shifted minutely. The woman's eyes flicked toward him. His heart raced. This was a moment stretched across eternity, caught between memory and motion. "You feel it, don't you?" Kessler said. "Time is tangible, Leopold. A canvas can hold it, shape it." But one misstep. Leopold withdrew, unnerved. Yet the image of the village square imprinted on his mind, repeating endlessly. The spinning clock, the frozen villagers, the child's ball. That night, Leopold dreamed vividly. He wandered through painted streets, villagers frozen mid-step, shadows moving independently. Clocks ticked backward, rivers shimmered with impossible seasons, and the pull of the canvases tugged at him. Step inside, witness, become part of time itself. Morning brought no relief. The mansion seemed altered. Corridors stretched, doors appeared where none existed. Whispers echoed from the walls. Leopold realized that his perception of time had changed. Villagers outside moved normally, yet fragments of previous days overlapped with the present. He understood. The men who painted time did not merely depict reality, they trapped it, bending existence to their will. Nights grew longer, and Leopold explored further. Another canvas revealed a storm-tossed ship, waves frozen mid-crash, sailors mid-shout, sails snapping in a wind that could not be felt. Another painting depicted a forest in autumn, leaves spiraling downward only to rise again, animals repeating gestures endlessly. Leopold could not look away. The infinite weight of captured time pressed on his mind. Finally, Kessler revealed the greatest work, a vast panorama of Ardenbruck, every building, street, and inhabitant, suspended in a moment stretching across decades. "This is Ardenbruck as it truly is," Kessler whispered. "A living memory preserved for eternity. Step too close and you may find yourself wandering forever." Leopold stared. The air vibrated faintly, tugging at him. He pressed closer, mesmerized. The surface rippled beneath his hand. Panic surged, yet fascination rooted him in place. The village, the moor, the river stretched and bent, layering past, present, and future into one chaotic vision. He glimpsed himself reflected. Younger, older, faint echoes he did not recognize. The pull was irresistible. His heart pounded. Kessler's eyes glittered. "Observe, Leopold. Learn its rhythm. Only then will you understand." Unable to resist, Leopold stepped fully toward the painting. The surface rippled like liquid glass. The mansion vanished. The village expanded infinitely around him. Shadows twisted. The river shimmered with fragments of countless seasons. Villagers repeated gestures he could not track. He was both observer and participant. He saw himself in multiple forms: a scholar recording symbols, a man wandering streets, a figure trapped mid-gesture. Each version whispered, cried, or remained silent, warning or mocking. The boundaries between self and scene dissolved. Time lost meaning. Days, hours, centuries blended. Leopold understood the beauty and horror. He was now a part of the painting, trapped in layers of preserved existence, a witness to infinite loops of life. He wandered the village streets endlessly. Villagers repeated motions across centuries. Shadows flickered, leaves spiraled, river waters shimmered. He saw versions of himself entering paintings, observing villagers slipping between worlds. Each echo was distinct yet connected, a mosaic of consciousness stretched across time. Kessler appeared beside him within the painting, expression calm yet menacing. "You have crossed the boundary. You belong here. Do not resist. Eternity is your home now." Leopold realized fully he was no longer merely a man. He was a part of the paintings, an observer of life stretched across centuries, a keeper of moments, both prisoner and sentinel. Outside Ardenbruck, the world continued unaware. Travelers glimpsed fleeting figures in old-fashioned clothes, eyes distant, whispering of a man who seemed to hold centuries in his gaze. The painted world pulsed around him, infinite and eternal. Shadows moved, the river shimmered. Villagers repeated gestures. Leopold walked among them, a man beyond time, a guardian of moments that would never flow normally again, lost forever within the artistry of eternity. Leopold Arnhart moved through Ardenbruck, no longer a visitor, but part of the infinite layered village that stretched beyond comprehension. Streets looped endlessly, rivers shimmered with impossible reflections, and the villagers repeated gestures across decades. Each shadow flickered independently, each leaf spiraled endlessly, and every motion seemed to carry echoes of past, present, and future simultaneously. Time was no longer linear. Leopold felt it pressing against him, a weight in his chest, a pull in his veins. Every heartbeat, every breath, every glance at a villager or river fragment carried centuries of existence. He saw himself multiple times, walking streets he had not yet traversed, gesturing in moments he had not yet lived, vanishing only to return again. He understood that he was simultaneously observer and participant, caught in a web of preserved life crafted by the painters. The master painter, Matthias Kessler, appeared beside him within the painted world. He moved effortlessly, as if the infinite village obeyed his will. His eyes reflected the breadth of centuries, the knowledge of captured time and the inevitability of Leopold's fate. "You see now," Kessler said softly, voice echoing across layered realities. "Time is not yours to command, it is ours to preserve." Leopold nodded, fear and fascination mingling in his chest. "Why do this?" Why trap life in canvas? Because life is fleeting. Time is cruel. We preserve it. Every gesture, every breath, every flicker of existence, Kessler replied, frozen, eternal, beyond decay. Leopold's mind struggled to comprehend. He wandered the village streets, noticing details impossible to reconcile. A baker kneading bread in repeated motions, a child chasing a ball that flickered in age with every pass, shadows that moved independently. The village was alive yet unmoving, timeless yet flowing, a paradox that strained his understanding. The river drew his gaze. Its waters shimmered with fragments of countless seasons, past, future, and possible. Reflections of himself appeared, overlapping and shifting. One version stepped into the river, then vanished, only to return moments later in another form. Another watched him silently from a riverbank, whispering faintly in a language he could not comprehend. "Do you feel it?" Kessler asked. "The weight of eternity, the pulse of preserved life." Leopold's heart pounded. "Yeah, I see everything. I feel everything, but I don't know if I can endure it." "You will," Kessler said, "or you will become part of it. Either way, there is no escape." The village around him shifted. Houses crumbled and rebuilt themselves. Leaves fell and rose. The moor bent impossibly under a twilight sky that never changed. Villagers moved through repeated loops, their eyes vacant yet knowing, gestures precise yet endlessly repeating. Leopold realized with horror that every person, every moment, every fragment of existence in Ardenbruck had been captured, preserved, and endlessly replayed by the painters. He came upon a figure trapped mid-step, a man carrying firewood, repeating a stumble and recovery he had witnessed days before. Another figure, a woman, whispered secrets to a child who had long since disappeared from the physical world. Leopold understood. The paintings did not merely depict life. They ensnared it, bending existence into an eternal loop. The largest painting, the panorama of Ardenbruck, loomed ahead. Leopold approached, and the air around it pulsed with unimaginable energy. The canvas rippled beneath his fingertips, and the river shimmered, reflecting countless versions of the village simultaneously. Villagers moved in overlapping sequences, shadows bending and stretching, leaves spiraling in infinite repetition. "Step fully," Kessler said, appearing beside him. "Only then will you know the truth of our craft." Leopold hesitated, heart hammering. Yet the pull of the painting, the call of captured time, was irresistible. With a breath, he stepped fully into the canvas. The world folded around him. Streets lengthened, rivers curved impossibly. Villagers repeated motions he could not track. Time collapsed and expanded, looping, folding, and fracturing. He glimpsed countless versions of himself. The young scholar recording symbols, a middle-aged man wandering streets, a trapped figure frozen mid-motion. Each version whispered, cried, or remained silent. They called, warned, and mocked. Leopold realized fully he was both observer and observed, part of the canvas, part of the infinite cycle. Kessler followed, a spectral guide and master. "See the layers, Leopold. Every moment, every life, every gesture preserved. You are now part of this web. Observe, endure, witness." The river shimmered with fragments of lives he had never known. Children ran, aged, vanished, and returned. Shadows twisted in impossible angles. Houses crumbled, rebuilt, and shifted again. Every motion carried centuries of observation. Every breath echoed across time. Leopold wandered, understanding both the beauty and the horror. He was infinite yet trapped. He could perceive eternity, yet could act only within the confines of the painting. He was a sentinel, a keeper, a prisoner, a guardian of moments that could never flow normally again. Outside Ardenbruck, travelers glimpsed fleeting figures in fog. A man in centuries-old clothes, eyes distant, filled with knowledge beyond mortal comprehension. The wind carried faint ticking, irregular, almost alive, the pulse of preserved time itself. Leopold, fully merged with the painted world, walked silently among villages, shadows, rivers, and streets. He understood the final truth. He was no longer merely a man. He was time, a fragment of eternity, a witness to countless lives, gestures, and moments endlessly repeated. He would walk the village forever, observing, enduring, and guarding the infinite tapestry of Ardenbruck, as the man who painted time had intended. The fog thickened. The river shimmered. The wind whispered faintly. And within the infinite village, Leopold continued his endless journey. a silent sentinel, a prisoner and master of moments, both beyond life and part of it, forever entwined in the artistry of eternity. Eternity.